grant the appeal.
We have a motion on the floor to grant the appeal. Yes vote grants, a no vote denies. Again, is there any council discussion? Any public comment?
We do have two speakers signed in. Robbie LeBlanc, did you want to speak?
Here to answer questions if.
He's here to answer questions.
Okay.
Teddy Boyer, Boyer.
Questions on behalf of River Ranch Development and Design Review Board, if you guys have any questions.
Okay, I'm not seeing any at this time. All right. Okay, call the vote. A yes vote grants the appeal, no vote denies.
Oh, no, man. Talk to Rodney.
District 8?
Yes. Sorry.
9,
Yes.
1,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4, District 5,
Yes.
District 6, District 7. Motion to grant the appeal is approved.
All right. Item 18, just a reminder, deferred till,
September 18th.
uh-huh,
September 18th.
September 18th. I'm sorry, that wasn't written on here. It just said August 18th. All right, next appeal, please.
Appeal of the decision by the Office of Alcohol and Noise Control for the Grant Street Downtown Lafayette LLC located at 113 West Grant Street, Lafayette, Louisiana, suspension and fine.
Okay.
Nine counts of Section 6-13C, public possession by underage person. 5 counts of Section 6-13A, sales of underage person. And 1 count of Section 6-163A, no certificate of qualification bar card.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to recognize alcohol.
Sally Leger, manager with the Alcohol and Noise Control. This is 3 appeals by Grant Street, Downtown Lafayette LLC, for violations that occurred on July 22nd of 2017. There was an operation that was conducted by the Lafayette Police Department and assisted by the state ATC office. Duncan McGallard is supposed to, yes, okay. Duncan McGallard is a case agent with the Lafayette Police Department who is here to answer any questions that you may have. The violations that were observed and citations and summons issued that night are as follows. There were 9 counts of violations of Section 6-13C, public possession by underage persons, 5 counts of violations of Section 6-13A, sales to underage persons, and 1 count, Section 6-163A, no certificate of qualification, which is the bar card. The certificate of qualification is how it is notated in the ordinance itself. The informal hearing date had been rescheduled numerous times at the request of Grant Street's attorney, which is why it has taken so long for it to actually, the informal hearing to have happened and it coming before the council for their appeal. The informal hearing was actually held on June 13th, 2018. The hearing officer, who was Carly Armabar at the time, imposed the following penalties. For the 9 counts of public possession by underage person was a 1-day suspension and a $250 fine. The second one was for the 5 counts of sales to underage persons, which is 5 separate incidents where underage persons were sold alcohol that night in the business. The suspension was, it's a 3-day suspension and a $500 fine. There was 1 count for violation of Section 6-163, which is no certificate of qualification. They had 1 employee who was working who did not have a bar card or certificate of qualification, and it is a requirement of the ordinance that all employees have bar cards who are selling alcohol.
Okay. Ms. Sally, I got a question.
Sure.
What was the penalty for the third one?
Oh, I'm sorry. It was a 3-day suspension and a $250 fine.
Okay. I recall going through this. Is that date right?
Yes, that date is correct.
2017?
Yes, sir, it is.
And it's never been resolved?
No, when we have been trying to get this hearing set, and every time we would set it, Mr. Burgess would contact our office to reset it because there was a conflict with scheduling with his schedule, and we went on with this for an extended period of time, and then it just came down to where we have to have this hearing, so we gave him several dates to choose from, and he chose one of them dates, which was the June 13th, the latest date that we had given.
Okay, I just need a clarification on that. Councilman Bellard.
Yes, can you put legal in? I would like to make sure I'm going to say this right, so that's why I have legal. I would like to deny all counts. Do we have to vote on them separate, or can I combine them all as one as to deny the appeal? What's the process?
I'm sorry, hold on. Okay,
In order to make sure that this is a clean process and we provide opportunity to Grant Street and/or its attorney to address all three violations, we should take each violation separately. And so the first one that we should address is, the first one on the list is the 9 counts of public possession by underage persons, and allow, whatever questions or information or comments that need to be made, because I think there's a blue card that's been turned in.
Right.
So, and then deal with that and
Then go to the
resolve
5
that
count,
one-
then go to the 1 count.
Resolve that one way or other, however the council decides, and then move to the next one.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to deny the 9 count appeals process of public possession by underage person.
okay, we have a motion to deny the appeal on the 9 counts, but before we do that, your motion's noted. Is there a second by Councilman Terrio? But before we do that, is there someone, Councilman Cone?
Sally,
Yes, sir.
all of these violations occurred on the same night?
Yes, sir, all of these were on the same night,
Okay, thank you.
What night is that again for the record?
July 22nd, 2017.
Okay. At this time, Wax.
Just for clarification, that was a Friday night, Saturday morning. The date is actually the Saturday morning because it happened after midnight. All of the citations written were right after midnight.
In meantime, while this was getting postponed, the business was able to operate?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Councilman Woodrow?
Sally, on item number 1, the 9 counts, public possession by an underage person. I know that one has been a controversial one historically. My question to you, does the law say that a underage person cannot be in possession inside of an adult facility, specifically this facility? Is it illegal for that person to be inside of that facility with possession, or is it just the illegal act to possess it as an underage person?
How about if I defer that to legal, to Paul?
That's fine.
Under the cited article that's listed, it's 6-13C under the Alcohol Code. It says it shall be unlawful for any person under 21 years of age to be in public possession of any alcoholic beverage in violation of, and then it cites a Title 14, which is a criminal statute, 1493-12, as amended. It shall also be unlawful for any person required to hold an alcohol beverage permit issued pursuant to this chapter to allow and/or permit anyone under 21 years of age to be in public possession of any alcoholic beverage in violation of this subsection or RS 1493.12.
Paul, without cutting you off, I just want to be clear. I think that's it right there. So did you start off by saying it is illegal for the person?
Here's the answer to your question. While such person under the age of 21 is in and/or on the premises of the establishment.
So it is the responsibility of the establishment's owner. It is illegal for the establishment to allow it. First, it says it's illegal for someone to be in possession of it, but it further goes on to say the establishment is responsible.
It's unlawful for any person who's required to have an alcohol permit to allow or permit it.
To have a permit to allow. Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Councilman Castillo?
Thank you, sir. All 9 counts of public possession by underage person, that happened in one night,
Yes, sir.
one
All of these, okay, the 9 counts, the 5 counts, and the 1 count,
All in one night,
all happened in one evening, yes, sir.
one evening. Okay, thank you.
Okay, has there been any incidents since then?
Yes, sir.
There's been more incidents since we're dealing with this one?
Yes, since this date, yes, sir.
Okay. All right, at this time, I'd ask if someone wants to speak on behalf of, is it a blue card?
He does have a blue card.
Well, let's
L.
call him up
Clayton
on.
Burgess.
Okay, so this is your blue card right here.
So look, I appreciate your time, and this is the second time we've been here on this. We'll probably be back many times if this continues with the council. Look, this issue is very, very simple. Let's start with the first 9 counts, okay? The ordinance that, I'm sorry, I apologize. This issue is very, very simple, and it's one that's going to cost the council time and money and legal costs because it's just not written right and they're not enforcing it right. Very, very simple. The first of the 9 counts, public possession of underage persons, okay? I believe it was Councilman Boudreaux had asked about the status of the law. The Third Circuit that we sit in, and I said this the last time I was here, and I know you're very busy, has addressed your specific ordinance in a civil case, not in a penal criminal case, but in a civil case where the burden of proof is lower. In this particular case, it's a penal case where they can take action against your license or money. Burden of proof is higher. So they addressed it in a civil case where the burden of proof is lower. And they said, citing this very ordinance, 613, that there's no duty on a bar owner to patrol the premises to make sure underage people are not drinking. That was in a civil case. It happened here at the 15th Judicial District. It went up to the Third Circuit. I've cited it before. I've cited it again. It's Cowboys versus Reed versus Cowboys. Not only that, they went on to cite another circuit case that says the jurisprudence holds that an alcohol vendor does not have a duty to patrol its establishment to prevent underage drinking. So in the context of a lower burdened case, they've already said there's no duty, and they specifically cite your statute. Now I'll make sure I'm clear. I'm not saying they said it was unconstitutional. That wasn't challenged. It was just whether or not the bar owner has the duty in a civil context. And they said no, and they cite your statute, okay? So first of all, eventually this will fail. Eventually someone will get tired of this, and it's not about promoting underage drinking. I'm just talking about the possession statute. Eventually someone will get tired of this, whether it be Grant Street or someone else, and they will come forward and they will take this appeal to the 15th JDC, where it's a trial de novo, which means you start fresh, and take it to the Third Circuit, and the Third Circuit will say, no, this ordinance cannot be in effect, okay? Now, having said that, let's just address the ordinance itself, okay? You had asked some questions about what the ordinance holds, all right? The ordinance holds exceptions, even though the ordinance, I believe, is totally wrong, and so does the Third Circuit. Even the ordinance as written holds exceptions, and it lists them right here in the section. For example, they say when you cannot be in violation, if the person has attained 18 years of age, but under 21, if they're accompanied by a spouse, if they're accompanied by a parent, if they're accompanied by a legal custodian, right? So even under the ordinance has passed, there are exceptions for being cited. And here's where the rubber meets the road. These officers have testified, and I ask them, and it's videotaped, and you can ask them here tonight. Are you asking these people? Are you checking to find out whether or not they're with a spouse? Answer no. Are you checking to find out if they're a parent? No. Are you checking to ask where they got it? No. Are you checking to ask if they're a legal custodian? No. They're not doing any of that. All they're doing is writing the ordinance. They're not following your own statute. This isn't made up. These hearings are videotaped. The very officer that I asked those questions to is here tonight. Look, this isn't some hocus pocus legal thing. All I'm doing is pulling out your statute at these hearings and saying, are you following the statute? And they're saying no. It's not that they're bad people. It's not that they're mean people. That's not the point. So they're just literally writing these citations en masse without following your own statute. If they're not going to go through it to determine who they are and who they're with and who they get it, then the burden fails. The burden fails, and the burden's on the city and on the department. So it's just as simple as this, and we've gone through this. This will be the 18th count or something, and people say, oh, that must mean he's doing something wrong. No, what it means is that this ordinance, one, shouldn't be written like this, and two, they're simply not investigating enough. So when we go to these hearings, again, I ask these guys, look, who were they with? I don't know. Were they with their spouse? I don't know. Were they with their legal custodian? I don't know. Were they with guardian? I don't know. Do you know where they got it? I don't know. Well, it fails. It fails. You know, now, I can't tell you why, but one of the first go-rounds with these, I asked the exact same set of questions, and they were all denied. Exact same set of questions that I just told you. And they're all, not the appeal denied, but the charge was denied.
Right.
And so, I'm sorry, out of time?
Yeah.
Okay, my apologies. But so anyway, the point is, for the first one, and the officer's here, I would encourage you to ask him,
Okay.
you know, are you doing these things? That's just for the first 9.
I got you.
Now, do I have time to address the other ones later? We go?
Yeah, you can,
Got
if
it.
you fill out the
Got it.
blue
I
card
have
over
a
there.
question for you.
Far away, far away.
Why are we now hearing this if it was done July 17th? It was told to us, that's right?
2017.
Yeah,
No, I'm sorry. 2017. It's been over a year.
yes.
What took you so long? Tell me what happened.
Okay, well, listen, there's no question about the fact, we did have a first batch of these that went all the way through, right? And they were dismissed, not at the council meeting, but they were dismissed. I basically thought that quite frankly, that when they got these other ordinances, they would do the same thing. Now, there's no question that it was moved at my request, I don't know how many
But
times.
for over a year?
I can't say for over a year, I'd have to go back and look, but I gotta be, but listen, I'll be totally honest with you.
I'm just saying that just.
Listen, no question about it, okay? I want to make sure we're all looking everybody in the eye. I'm not sitting here saying to brag, I'm very, very busy, and I'm sorry this came up now, but let me say this much. With that, it's not because anybody's running from this thing. I mean, the truth be told, when this gets either.
You've answered my question. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Thank you. That's all I have,
problem.
Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Not seeing anything at this time. So we have a motion by Councilman Bill. Oh, sorry, Mr. Boudreaux.
And this is for Ms. Ascott. Do you have any thoughts on any appeals that you are aware of as it relates to our ordinance? And is 18 years of age one of the criterias of exemption when it comes to being in possession in that environment, according to our ordinance?
I'm not sure I understand the second part of your question, but the first.
Mr. Burgess had given up 4 or 5 different things that says that there are exemptions, I think, or I might be using the wrong word, but there were some factors that, are you with a spouse, are you with a parent, and I thought I heard one of which, are you 18 years old, is being 18
No, I don't
in an
think he's-
establishment?
I don't think he said that. I think he said anybody between 18 and 21 or under 21 who is with a spouse, with a
Okay, so
legal-
it was it was within that age range.
Right.
For the other 4 criteria.
Right.
Okay, all right. So you had to meet one of those others. So that's clear. Any information, are you aware of any of the appeals as it relates to our ordinance being overturned, defeated, or for civil purposes not holding up?
No, I'm unaware of any current active appeals that are challenging the validity of the ordinance. What I can do is comment, I guess, on what was commented on about the Cowboys case, and it's addressing one of the provisions of the alcohol ordinance or the code. I think it was, 6-13, I think. Let me make sure I'm referring to the right, 6-13. So let me just sort of summarize it as briefly as I can and as boiled down as I can. The Cowboys case was a civil tort case, all right, where a young lady goes to Cowboys bar and she allegedly drinks a lot there and is allegedly intoxicated. And she goes and gets in her car and she goes on the road and she rear ends, I believe is the facts, rear ends a person, okay? She injures that person. That person sues the young girl and also sues the bar and says, you, the bar, should have done something to prevent her from getting intoxicated. She got intoxicated, she got in the car, she injured me, and so you, the bar, are responsible. And they used various theories to try and get the bar responsible for that accident, one of which was they raised the question to the court of, look, Judge, in the alcohol code in Lafayette Parish, there's a provision that says bar owners are supposed to not allow or permit consumption or possession in the bar. And that creates this special heightened tort duty that bar owners now owe to the general public to prevent this type of accident. And the court said, we don't read the alcohol code, which is an administrative code that primarily deals with the regulation of its permits and permittees, to create this heightened special tort duty for the benefit of third persons. It does not address the validity of the alcohol code within the alcohol arena and or its permittees. It simply says it does not create a special heightened tort duty, okay? That's what that case stands for. There is no case that I'm aware of that's been reported that talks specifically about the validity of this alcohol provision and the code itself related to you, the local governing authority's ability to regulate and allow permitting for alcohol sales.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. With that being said, there is a motion on the first 9 counts by Councilman Bellard and second by Councilman Terrio to deny the appeal. So a yes vote will deny, a no vote will go in favor of the appeal.
Correct.
Call the vote, please.
District 9?
Yes.
District 1? Yes. District 2?
Yes.
District 3? Yes. District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8? Yes. Motion to deny the appeal is approved.
Now we'll move over to the 5 counts, and at this time, Councilman Bellard.
Yes, I'd like to make a request to deny, which would be a yes vote on the 5 counts of section 6-13A, sales to underage person.
Okay, we have a
Thank you, sir.
second by Councilman Terrio. Same thing applies. Blue card.
L. Clayton Burgess.
Okay. This will be on the second.
So, look, we'll make it quick because that didn't take too long. All right, it's the exact same argument, but worse. It's the same statute with the same exemptions. And the sad part is, pretty shortly here, that videotape of the officer saying he didn't go through the exemptions is going to be played in district court. Okay? The bottom line is, if you're going to write this statute, they're going to have to figure out how to make it work. They're going to have to ask these questions of where they got the alcohol. Was it with a parent? Was it with a guardian? Was it with their legal custodian? They're going to have to do it in order for them to be enforced. Obviously, that doesn't affect your vote tonight, but that's what's going to happen. The other thing that's happening is they're showing up with literally no evidence. They're showing up with an officer with absolutely no personal knowledge of what happened. They can't identify who did anything. They can't identify the informant. There literally is no information at these hearings. They show an officer that was there with no personal knowledge. Can't answer any of the questions. Who was it? What was it? Whatever. They're showing up with a piece of paper that doesn't address your statute. I'm sure it'll be another quick vote, but the bottom line is, unfortunately, they're just not following their statute. It's that simple. So.
Okay. All right, not seeing any other council discussion. A yes vote will deny, no vote will favor the appeal. Call the vote.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7? District 8? Yes. District 9?
Yes.
Motion to deny the appeal is approved.
Okay, now we'll move over to the 1 count. Councilman Bellard.
Yes, I'd like to deny the 1 count, section 6-163, no certificate of qualification Burkhart.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Bellard to deny and a second by Councilman Terrio. Any council discussion? Seeing none, blue card.
L. Clayton Burgess.
We're up again. Make it even quicker. Going to win at the 15th Judicial District. There's no proof that this is happening. These poor officers are just not doing a good job asking the right questions. Get on with your vote.
Councilman Bellard.
Can I ask you a question? Right here. Do you think the officers are lying?
No, I think they're telling the truth. I'm glad you asked that.
No,
Well, I don't get
that's
to
all I
answer.
wanted.
I don't get to answer. No, they're telling the
You
truth.
answered it perfectly.
They're telling the truth. If you get the video, they say they don't know if they're with the custodian or anybody. That's the whole point.
I was just asking you your opinion.
They're
Thanks for telling
the
me.
truth. They're not following it.
That's all I have, Mr. Chair. I appreciate your honesty.
Okay. Ms. Sally, can you come up for a second?
Yes, sir.
How many of these, I've been on the council for a while, how many of these do you come up, would you say, in a year? What other establishments are we having?
There
issues?
are other establishments. They had one that had an appeal that was going to be coming up a couple of months ago that actually decided not to appeal. There are other businesses that will get a fine when they come in, and they just pay the fine. So there's more than one business. This is not the only business.
I guess what I'm getting is we're not singling out particular
Absolutely
Grand
not.
Street. There are other establishments that are under the same procedures, video, the police officers are asking the same questions, doing the
Well,
same
as far
thing.
as for what the police officers do, I would prefer if the police officer, the case agent would answer to that, or the police department, because I don't want to speak on their behalf.
I got you.
But when to my knowledge, what is happening when they go out there, everything is done the same. They go to numerous businesses. I don't recall the exact number, but I think there was like 15 or 16 different businesses that were checked that night. The Friday night, Saturday, there were approximately 15, I'm not sure of the exact number, that were checked that night with 2 businesses being in violation. So there are numerous businesses that are being checked. It's not just one.
Okay. Would you like to speak in the back?
Lieutenant Monty Poche, the Lafayette Police Department. I'm Lieutenant over Youth Services.
Okay.
Yes, they're sent out. Actually, the last 2 items that y'all were referring to, the 5 counts and the 1 count, was handled by ATC, the state. The state had a buyer go in with a witness, but that was handled by the state. It wasn't handled by the Lafayette Police Department. We worked in conjunction with ATC. The 9 that you were referring to at the beginning actually was done by us. The officers go in, they visually observe under someone they believe to be under 21 with the possession of the alcohol. We're working the criminal offense, not the administrative. The criminal offense, we've actually asked them, they're advised of their rights, they do their stuff, and then they're issued a summons. Now, what occurred in city court, I'm not sure. Maybe we should check on that as far as prior to the administrative. But if they have the opportunity during that criminal going to city court to make those exceptions and say, yes, I was with so-and-so, or I was with, it falls under one of the exemptions by state law. But just to clarify, we had the 5 counts of sales to underage persons and the 1 count of the no certificate of qualification was handled by ATC.
Okay. All right. And did any one of those 9 that was handled by you testify that they were with a loved one, or in other words, I guess if somebody got the citation.
Here's the case agent for it.
No, sir, no, none of them did.
So nobody came and said, hey, I was with someone. Okay. But they got the citation. Okay. All right. That's all I have. I don't see anything else. Thank you. Appreciate it. Go ahead and call the vote.
District 2? District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 7? District 8? District 9? District 1?
Yes.
Motion to deny the appeal is approved.
Okay, we'll move to introductory ordinances. Remind everyone that item 29 has been pulled from the in-global list for separate vote and discussion and will be addressed after the global vote. I need a motion and a second to consider. Motion by Councilman Boudreaux and a second by Councilman Lewis. Jeremy, can you please read? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There's a motion by Councilman Boudreaux and a second by Councilman Castillo. To consider intro.
Ordinance 142, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette Mayor President to accept donations of funds and materials to construct Lafayette Transit System bus stop shelters and to amend the then current operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government to account for receipt and expenditure of granted funds. Ordinance 143, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council amending the fiscal year 1718 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government to adjust amounts for the full cost allocation plan for administrative and general costs to actual. Ordinance 144, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council setting forth and designating the ad valorem tax millage rates and imposing taxes on all property subject to ad valorem taxation in the city of Lafayette and the parish of Lafayette, and authorizing the assessor and tax collector for the parish of Lafayette to assess and collect property taxes for 2018. Ordinance 145, 2018. An ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government to sell at internet auction miscellaneous surplus LCG movable property which is no longer needed for public purposes as per the attached list. Ordinance 146, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government to sell at an internet auction one surplus 2010 John Deere 672 motor grader which is no longer needed for public purposes. Ordinance 147, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government to sell at an internet auction miscellaneous LCG police evidence movable property which is no longer needed for public purposes as per the attached list. Ordinance 148, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council amending the fiscal year 1718 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by adjusting the manning tables and reallocate salaries in the District Attorney's Office non-support division to be 100% funded by said division. Ordinance 149, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council amending the fiscal year 1718 capital budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by authorizing the use of prior year fund balance in the amount of $350,000 and appropriating within the Office of the Chief Administrative Officer, Juvenile Detention Division for roof replacement. Ordinance 150, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette Mayor President to enter into an intergovernmental agreement between Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government and the City of Scott concerning the improvements to Walker Road as part of the Urban Asphalt Preservation Project and amending the fiscal year 1718 capital budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by increasing reimbursement revenues from the City of Scott in the amount of $5,200 and appropriating within the Public Works Department for said project. Ordinance 152, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council amending the fiscal year 1718 capital budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by increasing anticipated revenues in the amount of $1.8 million from the Federal Transit Administration Section 53073 Congestion Mitigation Air Quality Grant along with the required match in the amount of $450,000 for use within the Public Works Department Transit Division. Ordinance 153, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council declaring the mobile home located at 114 La Rue Barritz, Lafayette, Louisiana, on property owned by Herbert R. Scribner and Joyce Warrington Scribner, care of Gerald J. Block, attorney appointed, to be dilapidated and dangerous to the public welfare and ordering the condemnation of same. Ordinance 154, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council setting forth and designating the ad valorem tax millage rate and imposing taxes on all property subject to ad valorem taxation in the parish of Lafayette, and authorizing the tax assessor and tax collector for the parish of Lafayette to assess and collect the millage rate for 2018 at the rate of 1.58 mils for the Lafayette Airport Commission.
Okay. Not seeing any council discussion, was there any comment from the public on the global?
We did have one speaker, Andrew Abear, has signed in for item number 32. I don't know that he's still present.
He's gone? Okay. All right, call the vote.
District 3? District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
District 9? District 1?
Yes.
District 2? Motion to introduce in globo is approved.
Okay, now we're going to move to the separate item number 29. Jeremy, can you please read?
Ordinance 151, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council amending the fiscal year 1718 capital budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by transferring $38,520.24 from the Replace X-ray Machines project and $6,614.63 from the Re-Roof Parish Government Building project, totaling $45,134.87 to building maintenance utilized for various LCG building maintenance projects managed within the Public Works Department Facilities Maintenance Division.
All right, need a motion and a second. Got a motion by Councilman Castillo, second by Councilwoman Nanette Cook. And at this time, I need to announce that Public Works has proposed an amendment to correct verbiage to line item names and divide funding into separate line items, keeping the total amount the same. Can I get a motion and a second? I'll make that motion. Got a motion by Councilman Bellard and a second by Councilwoman Liz Abear on the amendment. Is there any discussion on the amendment being offered by Councilman Bellard and Councilwoman Liz? Seeing none. Is there any public comment on the amendment?
No, sir.
Seeing none, please call the vote on the amendment being offered.
District 4? District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
District 9? District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
Motion to amend is approved.
Okay, is there any council discussion on the ordinance as amended? Seeing none, any public comment on the ordinance as amended?
No, sir.
All right, please call the vote on the ordinance as amended.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yeah.
District 8? District 9? District 1?
Yes.
District 2? District 3? Motion to introduce as amended is approved.
Meeting adjourned. Have a good night.
I signed the correct one. And it was all in the paperwork. They sent you the wrong file. The one that got published was you.
Okay, that's why you,
We sent it to you. I mean, it was all us.
Well, I mean, then we got it. Oh, no. Yeah. We got it. We got it.
I think one of the two when they asked me something, I was going to say, bingo.